Oh, say, can you see? Wait, no, that's not the right one. Oh, right. Oh, Canada, we stand. I haven't sang the thing since high school. For the. Yes, it is Canada Day. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Differently Wired Show. Canada represent. The real topic is learning to like yourself. Although, if you're a Canadian, you already do that. You know, we have some, in terms of the pride that people tend to have in their country. We certainly do have that here in Canada for the most part. I mean, whenever we go abroad, people think that we're Americans and they find out that we're Canadians. You know, they're delighted. However, if you're an American, everybody hates you. It's the reason why Americans pretend to be Canadians when they travel. But anyways, excuse me. So today is going to be about learning to like yourself. But before we get into that, gotta introduce my co-hosts. That is plural. Yes, indeed. First of all, these guys here with me always keeps me sane and insane. You know, good balance. He is PhD. He is John Tucker. John, what's popping off with you on this Canada Day?
I'm just imagining the do-si-do dance of saying insane that we do. It's kind of an interesting, how would you say, dance.
Yeah, it bears a striking resemblance to the kitten play. It's just a lot more freakish. But you probably don't know what that is, John, do you? The kitten play?
Kitten play?
Yeah.
No, like kittens and balls of yarn. Yeah, I know that.
Oh God. Well, maybe my other co-host can enlighten him.
See he's on board.
Yes, he is one of the two lead brains behind the Triple S League here on YouTube. All the great gaming news and Cyberpunk 2077 goodness. He is here to talk with us today. He is Cybsidian. Cyb, can you please explain to John what the kitten play is?
I don't know that, but I do know it is Canada Day, so I have to do the traditional Canadian greeting. So, what's up, you hoser?
Oh, I thought the traditional Canadian greeting was sorry, but
it's a kind of a neck and neck thing there.
Yes. What's up? Sorry. Nick Nicholson sends in 20, I believe those are euros. Thank you, Nick. That's very kind of you. I put pineapple on my pizza because I love myself. Sue me. Hey man, we're open-minded to everybody here, except for people who put pineapple on pizza.
That's differently pizzaed.
Yeah, you can take your 20 euros back. No, I'm kidding. I really appreciate it, Nick. And I've never actually had pineapple on pizza, so I can't judge. What was I? Oh, yeah. And by the way, the kitten play is a dance from the 90s. It's no big deal. Before we get into the main topics at hand, I just want to do all the usual house cleaning stuff. First of all, if you guys want to listen to us on like your phone, your iPod, you want to listen to us on the go while you're exercising, whatever you do, you can find us on all the relevant podcast apps. This is where you can find us on Apple. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on iHeartRadio. All them good places. So if you want to download us there, please feel free to do so. Also, we have the Facebook page image is gone. Why does it keep doing that? We do have a Facebook page. There's a link to it in the description box below. Just go like it, whatever. Discord server, we're almost at 1,500 members. I believe we're just like 10 away. That's pretty good. Sidekick, just a small favor. Can you please just mute your mic? Because there's a little bit of echo going on your end. Discord server, guys. We do have one. Please go to the link in the description box below if you'd like to join our ever-growing community. It's very positive. Everybody there is really, really nice. Let's see what else. Oh, John, you want to plug your thing, don't you? Here, let me bring that up for you.
Yes, I did want to mention on my website there is an opportunity for people Eastern Standard or Eastern Daylight Time on Monday afternoon. You can chat for free with me. 20-minute slots are opened up for anybody who wants to chat. There is no marketing stuff going on. You just send me a little note in that chat function that you can see now on your screen. Click on one of those and then tell me as much as you feel like about what it is you want to talk about. And I will read it before I open up the Zoom, and we can start right at the beginning, bang, and say, oh yeah, well, I would try this and look at that, and how about this, and we can talk directly about whatever. And if you just want to rant, that's fine too. And that will go on while we are shut down in this hemisphere and in this actually, while the world is shut down. I'll leave that there for Monday. That'll be my little contribution for for people who can't afford to hire me, who are stressed out or just whatever. Nope.
Yeah.
That'll stay up for a while.
And make sure to include as many references to video games as you possibly can.
Oh, God.
Please.
That'll really help. Yep.
Yeah.
What is a Princess Toadstool? And also, guys, to the people that support me on Subscribestar, there is an after show for this show. Hold on, how do I... Okay. So, well, first of all, I do have a Subscribestar page. It's like Patreon, but without all the anti-free speech policies. If you go over there and support me at whatever tier, I think is a $1, $2, $5, $10, and $20 tier. Depending on how much you donate, you get various different rewards, including access to the after show, like I just said. And the after show happens right after the show at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We go into the aforementioned Discord server and we hang out for an hour. Talk about whatever. By the way, I tell the people that have been joining me the last couple weeks or so, we've been talking about The Last of Us Part 2. I just finished it a couple days ago. I have a lot to say. And maybe Side, you and I can talk about that afterwards if you're free. All right. So, with that out of the way, guys, learning to like yourself. This is one that I tend to struggle with quite a bit, actually, to be honest. Like, I'm kind of a little bit scared to talk about this today because normally I do a lot of notes before my show just to make sure that I can stay at the same pace as John does in terms of knowledge and speaking. But liking myself, it's something that I personally have struggled with. So maybe instead of us trying to, well, me particularly, dictating to you about how you should go about liking yourself, maybe we can turn this into a collective discussion. John, because you're the one that suggested this topic to me yesterday, maybe you could take it away and see where we go from there.
Okay, before I do that, I want to remind people that they can go to the Zoom.
Oh, right, yeah.
And call in. We do actually have a caller waiting now at the moment.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Well, so you should let people know about that so that they can join in when they feel like it, because I think you're right. It needs to be a discussion.
Right. Sorry, guys. Just let me remind you how to do the Zoom thing. So if you want to actually talk to John, Saib, and I directly during the show, you actually can. All you have to do is go to zoom.us, go to join a meeting, click on that, and then what you need to do is you need to plug in this meeting ID and this password into this little box here. So you put in the meeting ID, then you click join, then you put in the password. And then you'll be able to talk to John, Saib, and I. Well, John, before we bring in that person, do you sort of just want to set things up a bit?
Yeah, I will do that, because I noticed that a lot of my clients need strategies to get things done. They need strategies with relationships. They need strategies to raise their kids or to deal with their parents or to get through school. All those things, those domains that create lots of problems for us. And when we pick away at the problems, I discover a feeling inside them that they don't measure up. And in the differently wired community, I sense that there's a fair bit of this going on, where you've heard so much about how you're not measuring up, how you're not doing stuff, that it actually infiltrates your molecules. It gets right inside you, so you never can quite catch up with feeling I'm okay. Now, in the 70s, we had a big period of time where positivity and you're okay, and all kinds of mantras and all kinds of BS about saying positive affirmations. Sometimes the positive affirmations can bring you around, but sometimes they just make you feel bad. So learning to like yourself is a slow process. And there are certain little things you can do, but it's like you're never quite content with your life until you're comfortable with yourself. So it's really worthwhile for us to talk about little tricks, little ways to kind of stop beating ourselves. I sometimes say to my clients, you know, and in fact, I said it this week, you know, you were born in the wrong age. You should have been in the Middle Ages, because you could walk down the street in Europe with a robe half open and a big piece of weighted rope, and you could be a flagellant monk, because you're beating yourself up, making your soul raw and bloody, constantly beating yourself up. This is very time consuming and wasteful and hurtful. So I think it's a deeply important topic for a lot of the folks that are in our neck of the woods.
So do you have anything to say to that before we bring our guest on?
No, that's you summed it up really good.
Yeah, it's a good, decent introduction. All right, who do we have on the line, John? Well,
okay, I'll admit them and let them see if they want to say who they are.
Say who they are. Yeah, this is...
Here we go.
Oh, who do we have?
No.
Can we say your name, please?
Hello?
Hi, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, can we call you by your name, or would you prefer to be anonymous?
You can refer to me as by my Discord name.
What's that?
Is that the one I'm seeing on the screen?
Oh, give me a second. I rather prefer to be referred to my Discord name. Max Dinkley.
Oh, hey, Max. Hey, what's going on?
Oh,
Yes,
Max. Oh, yeah, I remember Max Dinkley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was here for the first few broadcasts.
Yes, you were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So how you doing, Max? What do you want to talk about in regards to the main topic?
This actually relates to let me mute my headset here because it's on the live stream and it's a little bit delayed. So earlier today I was playing a game called Escape from Tarkov, and I kept on dying so many times, and I'm so bothered by it. And the fact, and it made me realize that I suck at every game I played at or everything I do at. It makes me feel like I suck at everything. I can't do a job properly, or know where to seek out a job at, even know where the hell to go at. I feel like at times that I'm not even meant for this world at times.
Wait a minute, hold on a second. Like, what you just said there was very serious, but just in regards to Escape from Tarkov, isn't that like a battle royale game?
It's not battle royale. It's not battle royale per se, but it's this little survival game and whatnot, and it's hardcore and crap like that.
Dude, pretty much 90% of the people that play those games, those types of games, suck. So don't beat yourself up about that first and foremost. And look, you don't have to be good at every single thing. Like, games.
But every game I played at, CS:GO, Counter Global Offensive, League of Legends, Fortnite, everything I tried one of those games I sucked at. I play EU4, or I play any game I touched, sucked at.
Well, do you know why? Because all those games that you're mentioning are competitive multiplayer games. There are tons of other games that you can play that aren't competitive multiplayer games that you could excel at. Like, for example, Minecraft. You know, Max, aren't you a part of my Minecraft?
I played Minecraft for a bit, but when it comes to creativity and stuff like that, it's a border gore. I can't do anything other than that. I mean, of course, with any toddler can play that game. If a toddler can play that game, then
okay, I'm just throwing out
maybe even I could play that game.
Exactly.
Could play it.
It's a very relaxing game. I'm just throwing out possible examples. But look, Max, before we get into the other thing about not being able to find a job and all that, just there's a whole bunch of different types of games for a bunch of different types of people, depending on skill level, and it doesn't matter necessarily if you're quote unquote good at them, just as long as you're enjoying them. That's why they're games, right? And aside from that, when you're saying about not being able to find a job, like,
well, actually, I was actually asked this by my stepfather the other day. He had a friend brought over to his house, and they were talking stuff like that, and they asked me. It was like a little thinking question on extension how I'd handle kids, because the way they're trying to handle them is in a similar situation that they had to go through, and they asked me, how what would you do about on how help the kids and whatnot? and I couldn't think of anything about it because, well, I don't know how to help him much. I mean, when it came to my situations, I don't know how to figure it out. So if I can't even figure out my own problems, my parents can't figure out my problems. then when am I?
Well, go ahead, Seb.
So so quickly, just first on the again on because I see where you're kind of tying these things together, and so part of it is learning where you can excel at, because I spent 3 years, 3 very long years, trying to learn how to draw because I was really wanted to draw good artwork. I wanted to draw like, comics and anime type stuff and just really excel at it. And after 3 years of many lessons and two teachers and a lot of about 2,000 pages worth of circle drawings and just trying everything I could, I realized that I cannot draw anything worth anything. And a this is not an insult to my creativity, because as I have discovered recently, I'm very good at creating story and writing story, and this is something that I've done in the past. And so really, when it comes down to what you're good at, you have to explore. Everybody is good at a number of things, and especially when it comes to creativity, I know people who are creatively bankrupt in everything except for a single very small thing. And sometimes that's keeping a yard, sometimes that's food, sometimes that's painting versus like other things, sometimes that's building or sculpting. It's like you have to try and find your niche. And when you're going into a scenario where, and as the other Max said, when you're facing up against like games that require a high degree of skill, in order to get good at any of those games you mentioned, you got to have like 2,000 to 3,000 hours in them.
Yeah.
And you have to be constantly up. Like I did League of Legends, and you constantly have to be like, every time a patch comes out, you have to know exactly what has changed in every existing character all at the same time, if you want to be good, if you want to place in the top like 10. And if you and when it comes to things like Tarkov or like any kind of battle royale game, it's like you have to be, you're not, the top 10 doesn't cut it. The top, the top 5% doesn't even cut it. It's the top, 2 or 3%, 1 to 3% that actually cuts it. And so comparing yourself to that is very, very, it's like it's very much a way of like guaranteeing that you're going to bash your head into the wall every single day, and you're just going to keep feeling worse and bad. And as far as how that can affect you on a personal level, it's like you have to be very careful with that, because that will eat away at you very, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
The problem with Tarkov is that it's the only game that actually has customization and sound design that I can't really find anywhere. Maybe it's maybe Insurgency, but Insurgency doesn't have that level of customization and such.
Well, I mean, I don't know what type of customization you're talking about. When I think about customization and games that have lots of it, I tend to think of games like Saints Row, Elder Scrolls, particularly the modded versions, stuff like that.
I'm talking about weapon customization in Tarkov.
Oh, weapon customization. Well, yeah, I can see what you mean by that. But look, you gotta sort of allow yourself to be open to a whole bunch of different experiences. And from what I'm sort of getting from you, you seem to be dead set on these particular types of experiences and dead set on the possibility that.
I mean, I stepped away from competitive games for a long time after Overwatch. I didn't touch any competitive games for a while. Unturned was one, but after that, I didn't play anything really competitive per se for a while.
Yeah. Look, I think, unfortunately, like there will be other people that we have to get to, so we'll have to wrap this up in just a little bit.
I'll talk to you in the after show, I guess.
Yeah. We can talk in the after show, absolutely. But just while we still have you here, we'll talk for a few more minutes. In regards to what Saib said about not driving yourself crazy, you're going to drive yourself crazy if you keep comparing yourself to what what stages other people are in their lives compared to where you are at right now.
I mean, it's kind of hard when everyone seems to be getting ahead of their lives while you're still here sitting in your room doing nothing all day.
Well,
you sent that one public application.
Right.
Well,
there are a couple things you got to keep in mind. You're sending out applications everywhere. I mean,
oh no, I didn't send applications anywhere. It's only one place. It's only one place, and I don't. Again, everyone seems to be getting ahead in their life and whatnot. I mean, I was offered something yesterday, but even then, I'm not sure if I could do that job successfully or not.
Wait, oh, you were offered something?
Well, yeah, I was offered. It was a volunteer job. I'm not getting paid for it.
Well,
but
that's a good place to start.
Absolutely. Dude, because if there's any place that you can be certain that you're going to get experience that will get you to a place where you can get paid to do a particular job, a volunteer position is an absolutely great place to start. That's where I started. You know, I started teaching Taekwondo when I was 15 or 16, and then after that I got my first paid job. You got to work yourself up the ladder, man. You can't expect to be get to the places where other people are immediately, even though that would be ideal for everybody. So you gotta be open to just whatever opportunities come your way. You gotta be open to a whole bunch of different experiences, whether that's in regards to the job market or in regards to gaming. And once you allow yourself to be that way, and you sort of force yourself to make that first step towards whatever opportunity comes towards you, or if you come across a game, you got to tell yourself, hey, maybe I'll just force myself to try this, or hey, maybe I'll force myself to play this. And once you get across that initial hurdle, trust me, things become a whole lot less difficult once you get past that original hesitation. At least that's how I found it in my life, and how a bunch of other people have found it in their lives that I've talked to while being online.
Well, I was offered that opportunity yesterday, and they said, they found a position for me, and yet I'm not sure if I should act upon it or not, because again, I'm debating if I should just sit here or not, or just simply pursue that. It sounds like I'm not, and it sounds like I'm in action. It's just.
Well, give it a shot. What can you tell us what the position is for?
Well, I think it's some political. Again, it's for the commissioner within our commissioner within our county.
Okay. Well, if it's a volunteer position, then I can pretty.
It's a good way to get experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is not that risky. A volunteer position doesn't have the same kind of demands on it as a paid position. You can explore more. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, go for it. And look, if it isn't ultimately for you, I understand, in your life right now, you're having a bit of a struggle in regards to your family and trying to get work experience or any type of work in general. If it doesn't turn out to be something that you like, just make a list of reasons why that you don't. Well, make a list of reasons why you don't like it, but make it a list of reasons why you should stay with the position. And then that way, if you do leave, you can demonstrate, hey, I really have thought long and hard about this, and I want to try for something else. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, and I think the reason why these competitive games beat me so hard when it brings up I suck at everything is because it also extends to my life as well. I feel like I suck at everything in my life as well. And when it comes to my creativeness, it's just a rip off of some other things and whatnot.
Well, Max, that's not going to be entirely always the case. You may not appreciate those things that are strong in you, but Max Dinkley, you have strengths, and you got to allow those things to be where you go to. And it may not be that game, but those games are designed to make you have to work really hard to get good at them and to keep you interested. It may not be the gaming world that's your big strength. I don't know, maybe something else.
Just before we let you go, Max, I want to recommend one particular game to you that's a wonderful game that people can get really good at and get really addicted to. This was sort of my introduction to gaming. Spyro. Get Spyro, the Reignited Trilogy.
I tried platformers. I got what I had in time for a bit. I played it, thought, it's a nice game. I didn't play it again after that.
Oh, dude, Spyro's so good. Trust me, just get it. Even if you don't play the first, in the trilogy, play definitely the second or third, because you're talking about how you really appreciate sound design and colors. That game has them in spades. It has one of the best soundtracks ever in the history of gaming, in my opinion. And I want to thank Emerald Queen for suggesting that game to me in the chat. Okay, thanks so much, Max. We'll talk in the after show. Okay.
Good day.
All right.
Yeah, I've got a couple of game lists that I'll share with you later, Max. That really kind of like things that I think help like people like us.
Sound good?
Okay,
Oh, did you go?
we have another caller waiting,
Oh, well,
and
just
we have a couple of items in mailbag. So
yeah.
this show is going really fast.
Yeah, it is going really fast. I just got
It's
to
like, yeah.
I just got a note real quick. The super chats that we've gotten. Athena sends in $2. Thank you very much for that, Athena. He says check messages on chaos. Yeah, I got your message, dude. I'm not sure I'll be able to read it on the show tonight because, like John said, we have a caller and then we have the mailbag. And
We have two callers.
two callers. Good
Yeah,
heavens.
lined up.
And Alina,
So I don't know if you want to go to the mailbag first, or do you want to go to another caller first? Max, you can call that shot.
Yeah, let's do a mailbag and then we'll go to a caller. But just very quickly, Alina DeHowler, Werewolf Queen says, just supporting my favorite Canadian duo. Well, trio today. Ayo. Thank you very much for sending that in, Alina. We really do appreciate it. And we really appreciate that you never seem to miss the show.
Never.
You're one of our longest fans, sticking around. And Horace Lux says, you are all breathtaking. No, you're breathtaking! And only Saib and I will get that reference. And maybe
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was funny anyway.
Yeah, it was. Keanu Reeves. Let's go into the mailbag. So, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes, we do have some messages from people that they send to us through email. We try to save some time on the show so that we can address some of those things. And you can send us whatever you want at any time, just as long as it's on the topic of, being differently wired. Send it to us to maxdarrett@yahoo.ca. That is the email that you see on screen. That is maxdarrett@yahoo.ca. Let's get to the very first email question. And this one comes to us from Anonymous. And Anonymous writes, maybe you can enlighten me, but if you can't, that's okay. I'm sad because I'm alone. I mean, the mind can be a lonely place. Also, I feel lost in the world. No family, only my daughters. I feel like I'm missing a part of myself considering I grew up in a broken home and I don't speak to anyone in my family. I haven't seen my mom in 4 years and she lives in a different country. I haven't seen my dad in over 2 years and he lives in a different city but doesn't call me even though he can. Neither of my parents had a genuine interest in me while I was growing up. I try my hardest not to repeat their mistakes as a parent. I'm also working on breaking generational curses. Life is hard without an emotional support system or mental support system. I have no actual family roots, so most of the time I feel lonely, broken, or lost. I usually question who I am because of this and feel like a lost cause. It's obvious my parents used no logic when they convinced me. Possibly they weren't ready for a daughter or something. I don't know. By the way, I need to clarify that I don't speak to my mom by choice. I don't want it to sound like there's no way for me to contact her because there is. As far as my dad goes, he was gone most of my life. We have ways of contacting each other by phone, but the last few times I made an effort to have a relationship with him, he was disinterested. Both my parents used to live in the same city as I, but my mom moved away when I was in my early 20s, and my dad was already gone most of my life. I hope this clarifies why I'm not really in contact with them. It isn't the fact that I don't know where they are or anything like that. Unfortunately, my life is less chaotic without my mom being in it, and my dad is disinterested in me, so having a relationship with them isn't really an option. It's almost like they couldn't wait to get rid of me. How does a person identify themselves when there is no proper family structure? I have a... I felt like I spoke a lot in the last section, but is it okay if I just say something really quick on this and then?
Why not?
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so Anonymous, there's something I say at the end of each of my Asperger's videos, right? You deserve to be happy. Unfortunately, the hand that you were dealt at the beginning of your life, it didn't work out in some respects as you detailed here, but that doesn't mean that you aren't allowed to, create this sort of familial, friendly structure for yourself. There are people out there that are like you. I'm just going to give you one possible scenario forward, and then obviously Saib and John can offer theirs. There are other people out there that are like you that didn't have the best relationship with their parents and maybe need a community of people that are like them so that they can sort of get things off their chest and figure out ways forward. The advent of the internet, even though there is a lot of craziness that's going on the internet nowadays, there is a lot of positive stuff that has come out of that invention. And one thing that you can do is figure out a way to set up groups, set up meetup groups, set up an online Discord server or something like that, like what I've done. Who's writing?
Sorry.
That's okay. Set up an online Discord server or something like that. Just a place where people like you can meet. And you can find multiple different ways that you can promote that on Twitter, on Facebook. You can, yeah, stuff like that. That's pretty much what I did. And like, I thought I was completely alone in the world with the stuff that I was going through. But look where I am now. I get to talk to people like me every day, and it's great. And I'm sure it would be great for you. Anyways, John, I hope, yeah.
Yeah, no, my mind had turned to things like meetup groups. Obviously, Anonymous has had a miserable time with family issues, but you do need that sense of community that is family-like.
Mm-hmm.
So your new friends can occupy that place where your mom and dad ought to have been. They're not going to necessarily come back. They may, but you really deserve to be happy, as Max says. So seeking out oases of kindness through meetup groups and those sorts of structures is a very good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Sad.
So like I've been there. I've been in your exact shoes before. It's never fun. And something that I can say, and it may seem a little controversial to some, but I remember an old speaker I heard said it, and it's that happiness is a byproduct. It's not a prime product. It's not, if you're chasing happiness for the sake of happiness, you'll very rarely ever find it. And instead, when you work at things, you'll find that, if you work at improving your house or your yard or a garden, or tending to a community group, or helping to establish some kind of a community in some activity, or in some generalized group, like any of the social norm type groups that you have, anything from bowling teams to church groups or whatever. It's like you will often find that happiness is a reward for maintaining those things in a healthy way. Gaming is a great way to maintain maintain your skill level and to have happiness. But if you try to make gaming your sole source of happiness, you'll always come up empty-handed, because it's nothing that those things don't fulfill you in and of themselves. They always have to have a sense of motivation and struggle behind them. And when you're constantly cleaning your room or your house or maintaining a garden, you'll find that you'll receive a lot of happiness from those things when you're actually like invested into those things. And it can, I'm hoping that comes across correctly.
Yeah,
it sounds quite excellent to me. I agree with you wholeheartedly, Sib. When you chase happiness, it runs away.
Mm-hmm.
So the other aspect of it, the kind of thing you're talking about, is very often helped if you're doing something that's useful for somebody. It might be garden, but it might also be supportive of someone else. I get a lot of satisfaction when I feel like I've done some good somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So that and as you say, happiness can then be a byproduct. Now, we do have a couple of callers, Max, on the line as well.
Let's do it. Who do we have?
Okay, I will admit the first one.
Sound off.
And here they come.
Oh, here they come. All right. Greetings. Who do we have on the line? Oh, he's still connecting.
I believe they're still connecting, yeah.
Still connecting.
They got a badass profile picture, though. Hey!
Yeah.
You hear us?
Hello. Are you guys talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are talking to you.
Is this Max Dinkley?
That's me, man.
Yes.
Okay. Shit. I'm your biggest fan, man. Like,
Oh, you're my biggest fan? I've always wanted to meet you.
yeah. So I think I've followed you since the you remember when you made those Metal Gear Solid videos and like a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And so recently, just before you, I think you started making the Ion series. You the Ion lectures.
Yep.
Yeah. So I did like a psychedelic, like I did acid, and I watched your series,
Oh,
and
jeez.
it just blew my fucking mind.
Oh, okay. Just it's a family show,
Sounds
dude.
like a deadly
Oh,
combination.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
It's
But
okay.
yeah.
It's okay.
So like yeah. So yeah, like whatever you said just really resonated with me because I've been following Jordan Peterson also for a long while,
Mhm.
and but lately he's been he's been sick and he hasn't been putting up a lot of updates. Then I've been reading up on Carl Jung and all this, and then you putting up the Ion series was also really enlightening. And I just like I'm really stuck right now because I'm doing architecture, and I really like psychology is my passion, psychology and philosophy and religion. Like I was born Catholic, so like I really um have this like passion for um I don't know, just making sense of things, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So and your Ion series really just blew my mind.
Yeah. That's an interesting combo, man. Architecture and
It
psychology.
is. It's a fantastic combination because these all support each other. They all weave together in
Yeah,
wonderful ways.
it does. But the thing is, I realize that I'm not a very visual person. So architecture, you need to be really visual, and you need to be. So the way I think in concepts, and I think in words.
Yeah.
So when I listen to you explain concepts, I embody them. I don't literally see the words, but rather I feel the concepts in my head. So I'm able
It's
to make connections without reading the words, but
like
just
you work with people who have that other. It sounds like you need to work with people that complement your skill set. I think it all works if I can see you in a team. In other words,
Hmm. Yeah. What did you have a question, dude, or were you just telling
No,
us?
I'm so sorry. I was just too excited. I just wanted to call and talk to you.
Oh, dude, no, that's
oh, that's
that's all
wonderful.
good,
Yeah.
dog. It's people who want to come in and tell me how awesome I am. I'm all about that.
Yeah,
If you didn't get that from the last 69 episodes, but yeah, dude, I hope everything's going okay with you. And yeah, I like John said,
Yeah.
if you can find a way to sort of take your skills and implement them in a team, I think you can create some really interesting things. And you seem to be into
Yeah.
all the right stuff too.
So my huge battle right now is because I'm in architecture and I've done the course, and the architecture life is set for me. Like I can do a job and make money, and that's all good, but it doesn't resonate with me.
Hmm.
So going into psychology and going into this whole path of carrying the aqueduct, like you said, is like would be a huge jump for me. But
Yeah.
I really resonate with it, and like that's gonna be. I feel like that's my battle right now to decide if I'm gonna stick with the easy way, the easy road, or
It's a very interesting journey you're on there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
try to. I understand. I'm sort of in the same place that you are right now, dude. Like I have a second job aside from the YouTube stuff that I do. Thank God. But obviously, I'd like to get to a point where I'm able to do the stuff that I love for fun. And I think this is probably already general knowledge to somebody who's I'm sure intelligent as you are, but just in case, just try to do something like a little bit of whatever, a little bit of work every single day that gets you a little bit closer towards your goal. So if you're into psychology, try to pick up a psychology textbook, whether it's a psychoanalytic textbook by like Jung or Freud or Adler, or a neuroscience textbook by somebody like Jaak Panksepp or something. Just that sort of stuff. Just maybe read a chapter each day, one step closer towards your goal. And before you know it, you'll be doing the stuff that you love.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah. And that is one way you can learn to like yourself. Brought that around full circle, didn't I? All right. Well, Francisco, thank you so much for calling in, dude. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much, Max, John, and Sai. Thank you.
All right. All the best, man. Let's see. Should we do? Yeah, let's do the next caller. Is that okay?
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Unless Saib, you had something you wanted to say to all of
No,
that.
not to that. That's fine.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Who do we got, John? Oh, they're still connecting. We need like that cheesy elevator
Oh,
music.
it's Galaxy Note 9. I love that device. It's a really great one.
I'm a Mac user when it comes to all my portable devices, so I don't know anything. But I take
Galaxy
your
Note,
words,
you're muted.
Yeah, Galaxy, you need to unmute, dude, or lady. Chick.
Hello?
Hello.
There we are.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes. What's going on?
Awesome. Hello.
What's popping?
I'm doing great today. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have something you wanted to say in regards to the topic, or what's on your mind?
Yeah. So I'm sorry. I'm hearing a doubling in the audio.
Oh, that might. Do you have the stream going?
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely pause the stream.
Yeah, we all make
Okay.
that mistake. It's all good.
Sounds better. Okay, I'm so sorry.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, I'm also your biggest fan, so I don't know who that other imposter is, but
It's
hello.
it's okay. Well, we'll get the two of you to fight it to the death, Star Trek style. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, before I ask my question, I just wanted to say I was like so blown away with your talk with Uber Boyo. Specifically, like once you started delving into Iron Man, you didn't touch on this, but it just resonated with me. Like, oh, Iron Man kind of did make the Antichrist with Ultron before he, assumed the position of the Self.
Yeah, that conversation blew my mind too. I went for like a 2-hour long walk after that just so I could decompress. Stefan will do that.
I listened to it 3 times. I really had to understand it all. It was so good.
Yeah, I'm so glad that we could provide you with that feeling as well. Yeah, I need to go back and listen to it too. Anyways, what did you want to say? Like, what was your question?
Yeah, I do have a question relating to the topic. I specifically am a painter. Like I'm a draftsman. I do visual art specifically. Like I like to oil paint and I work with charcoal a lot. And I notice frequently with a lot of the people that I've talked to on your channel through the comments and stuff, a lot of them have the same struggles that I have. And a lot of the work that I do, I work alone in a studio. So there's a lot of time for hatred to bubble over for any particular mistake that I make with my work. And I was wondering, have you spoken to any specifically like fine artists or any kind of creative people in the creative industry who suffer from that imposter syndrome, and any enlightenment you had on that?
Well, I'll be honest with you, dude. In regards to my skills in regards to fine arts, I have no artistic skill, and unfortunately, I don't tend to hang around with people that are in the industry. I do know people that are into art. Like there are people on my Discord server that paint and draw all the time. Like I have a friend of mine named Eliza, who I talk to every day, and she actually did the art for my channel. But aside from that, I don't think I know anybody in the industry. What about you guys?
Nighthawks, one of my favorite paintings.
Nighthawks?
Yeah, titled Nighthawks. It's if you see the picture, you probably recognize it. But yeah, I really liked that when I was about 9 or 10 when I first saw it.
Yeah, that's the photo of the diner, right? It's very dark and gloomy.
Mm-hmm.
The sense of doom and gloom is very real. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that painting. Yeah.
Well, I know with
it depends
artists,
on how you look at it. If you're looking at it from the external perspective of the outside versus like the internal perspective of like where the light is radiating from, and the community that gets together in the middle of the dark,
you're right, man. Maybe that speaks more about me.
Well, art is subjective, and people can see like a completely different thing when looking at a piece of art than the next person. That's why there's no objective way of being able to measure what's good or bad. I actually have a thing to say in regards to what you said about imposter syndrome, but I just want to get John to offer his thoughts before I step in.
Sure, yeah.
Well, yeah, I was just thinking that you get involved in something goes wrong, and then you start to feel bad, and you get tangled up in it. You need to step back somewhere. There, leave the room, walk around, jump up. I don't know. It seems to me you got to
Yeah.
involve your body in a switching around of things so you can see it from a different point of view
You know,
physically.
that really does resonate with me. Sometimes either when I'm frustrated and need to step away from the easel,
Yes.
or even before I start a work to get in that flow state, if you will, that creative, energetic state. This is funny. I would dance around kind of like Joker would, but this was before I watched the movie and before it became a meme. Very,
Keep
very
dancing.
slow, methodical. Yeah, things like that.
Keep dancing.
And it's funny because I don't like to dance much when I'm in social interactions.
The other thing that's very helpful to combat against imposter syndrome, as far as my experience with it, is basically like go to your way to find people who can give you fair and balanced critique, and then use them as often as you can.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's in the form of a smaller community. Sometimes it's like-minded people. Sometimes it's just relatives who, especially if you're doing some art. Like I send out every time I finish a chapter, I send it out to several people, get people to read the chapter, and their feedback is so critical in helping me to identify where my strengths are, identify where I need to catch up, and work from. And I'd say that's in any art, is like get somebody who can get multiple people who can critique you honestly, and then
Find a
that will
mentor.
help you a lot. And
That's a good lesson.
especially when if it's negative, like you accept that too, because if they're honestly trying to give you their best advice, that's there to help you grow. Because
you're right.
if you don't see that, then you won't challenge yourself. One of my first reviewers gave me a scathing, horrible review, and it changed the way that I approached writing from the get-go. And I gotta say, it was probably the best advice that I got.
Yeah.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. When I back when I was in art school, going through critiques and stuff, it's really humbling.
Yeah, it is. That's what I do with my YouTube scripts. Thankfully I have a lovely community that whenever I do finish a script, I say, "Hey, is there anybody out there that'd be willing to read a script for me?" A guy named Horace Lux, who I just gave a shout out to before, he actually reviewed a script for a video that's coming out on Friday, because he's a particular fan of the game that I'll be covering. I won't say what it is. You'll find out probably tomorrow. But yeah, you gotta be open to as much criticism as you can, because when you do that, it allows you to rethink about certain things and then maybe add your own original touch and allow you to create your own identity.
Remix it a little. Yeah, that makes sense.
And in regards to potential dances, I could tell you a really, really simple one, and it's very, very easy to do. Okay, just follow what I'm about to say. Okay, 1, jump around. 2, jump around. 3,
oh my God,
get up, and then 4, get down.
I like that.
Speaking of getting down, I have to let you know we're at 10 to the hour, and our show's about to shut down for our sponsors and stuff.
Is that why you leave? Because you got to go get down, John?
That's it. Get something.
Get something.
Hey Max, before you go, I have a bit of a rhetorical question.
Yes.
So, when you're in the podcast form or like after a seminar or something, and you only have like 30 seconds to talk with somebody, maybe your mentor, the mentor of like all of your knowledge in the world. If you had only 30 seconds with the mentor that you spent the most time with, what would you ask them in 30 seconds to get the most value out of that time?
Like people that I've actually met?
Or let's say that you had a teacher, like you spent 4 years with them in college or something, but somebody that you respect at that level. Maybe you haven't actually had that experience with them for that much time, but let's say that you were only forced to have 30 seconds with the person that could give you the most knowledge. What would be the one question to ask them? It's really weird.
Briefs or boxers? No, I'm kidding. I would say probably just how were you able to. I won't say who I met that is sort of like meant a lot to me.
Okay.
But I would ask him, like, what places did you go to create what you made? Because there are
Okay.
people whose works I just cannot comprehend how they were able to create something so unique and so powerful and so beautiful. And I'd
And
like
maybe the
to,
place that they went wasn't specifically physical. Maybe
yeah,
they went somewhere in the mind.
yeah, like what did you
They
have to
projected into
do?
something.
Yeah, to get there,
Mhm.
absolutely. And I'd be terrified to hear the answer, but it'd be an answer that I need to hear.
Awesome. Thank you. I love that.
No problem, dude. And take care. I'd love to see your art someday. Maybe you'll send it to me through email.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If I'm not watching the stream on Wednesdays, it's because I was working or something. But oh man, I love your work so much. Keep doing what you do.
All right. God bless. And thanks for tuning in.
Bless you too. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning into the Differently Wired Show, episode 70. Listen, before you go, I see there's 74 people watching live right now. We almost hit 100. Like, we hit 99. We didn't hit 100. It's just teasing me. But while I have you guys here, hey, hit that like button. It's free. I mean, look up, Marlon. They're free. Just when you hit the like button, it tells the YouTube algorithm that our content is worth watching. And who knows, there might be a differently wired person out there that needs a podcast like this or a community like this where they can talk to people like them and get some worthwhile advice. So hit that like button. It really helps us out. Thank you so much to John. Not sure if he's still here. He's probably off to get down. Probably heard, who does that song? Jump around, jump up and get down. Come on, Saib, help me out here.
Oh, another failed state of myself is trying to dance. Yeah, took several classes, tried really hard. I just cannot move with the beat down.
Hey, a little known fact about me: back when I was 16, I actually used to dance like Michael Jackson and James Brown, and I got pretty decent at it. I sort of. Actually, I won't tell that story. But anyways, thank you, Saib, for joining us as always. Do you want to plug the Triple S League before we finish?
We're covering a ton of stuff for Cyberpunk 2077. So if you're into that game, you're interested in that, check that out. We're doing a huge giveaway. It's there's actually 4 of them going on through the regular people that are on the Cyberpunk 2077 community podcast. In grand total, we're it's several $1,000s we're giving away, and we're doing. If you like tabletop stuff, you're going to want to check it out. So head over to our channel. We'll have the announcement up shortly, and then you can also check out some of our affiliate YouTube channels as well, and check them out, because we're doing a total of 4 giveaways, and it's pretty awesome. So check it out.
That is the Triple S League on YouTube. I'll make sure to put a link in the description box after we're done. And my name is Max Jarrett. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. And until we do this again next week, well, hold on a second. Just reminding you, after show in the Discord server to those who support me on Subscribestar. Okay.
I'll be there too.
And he'll be there too, and he'll be giving his badass game recommendations, and his recommendations are ones you should listen to. All right, that's it. Until next time, stay yellow. Peace. Bye.